presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are South.
It's another beautiful spring Sunday for baseball in Atlanta, Georgia, where Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Let's face it, Braves fans, the team from San Francisco has been a giant pain in the saddle. They're trying to sweep away the Braves here at Turner Field in a big battle of young left-handers today. Hi again, friends. John Smoltz, Joe Simpson, Chip Carey with you. Two left-handed starters going to the mound today, both hoping to change their luck. Both Alex Wood and Madison Bumgarner riding 3-game losing streaks.
Riding, that's a good term for a saddle, too. Madison Bumgarner is on the mound for the Giants today, and last year against the Braves, he was really unhittable. He made 2 starts against Atlanta. He went 14 innings, gave up just 1 run, struck out 21 in those 14 innings. A real tough customer, but here early in the season, he's fallen on some hard times and having a little trouble with his control.
And for Alex Wood, you can't be concerned with all the focus on the offense. He had 1 bad start, loves to pitch at home. You see the numbers, and you just got to concern yourself with maybe being on the 1-0 victory instead of on the other side of a 1-0 loss. So Alex Wood, aggressive early. San Francisco, aggressive at the plate. Make those pitches count.
You know, Braves country will say nay when you think about a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Giants. Let's see if Alex Wood can turn the trick for the Braves. We'll get to baseball. Braves and Giants from Turner Field right after this. On Hyundai Sunday, it's brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer. Braves trying to avoid a sweep at the hands of the Giants. And before first pitch, let's check in with our colleague Tom Hart. Hello, Tom.
Hey, Chip, thanks. The Braves rotation continues to be tweaked. Gavin Floyd was forced to come off the disabled list today due to minor league rehab regulations. He threw a side session this afternoon. He will move into the rotation Tuesday night. That rotation spot was opened up for the time being due to a bruised thumb that has hampered Irvin Santana over his last 2 outings. Santana will be pushed back to Saturday when the Chicago Cubs are in town. To make room for Floyd, Ian Thomas has been sent down to AAA Gwinnett. A lot more tough decisions coming as far as this rotation is concerned. The Braves don't want to go to a 6-man rotation, but that's where it stands right now. It was once said if the world were a logical place, men would ride side saddle. Not much logical about what the Braves have been forced to do with the rotation as of now. Chip?
Well, thank you, Tom. And John and Joe, quite obviously, it's better to have too many arms in too few spots than the other way around. That was the plan of the Braves going into this offseason. Pile up arms, stockpile them. And now Floyd has returned, and they added Aaron Harang, and now we've got too many starters in too few spots.
Yeah, and the only issue I would have, if you're a young pitcher, you can't be concerned about that like Alex Wood today. Well, if I don't have a good start, does that mean I go to the bullpen? Focus on your task at hand, and you're going to be able to develop as the year goes on.
Key for Alex in this game is to see if he can keep the ball in the ballpark from this Giants offense. They have hit 5 solo home runs in the first 2 games of this series, including the first in Turner Field by catcher Buster Posey. He was very happy about that. He's always swung the bat well in this place, and Alex Wood, fellas, really needs some offensive support.
Well, he does. You look at the numbers there: 2 wins, plenty of support, 4 losses. That's unheard of. So you can't pin those 4 losses solely on him. He's going to need some runs.
This is Angel Pagan to start things off for the Giants, who've won 4 consecutive games.
4 keys for Alex Wood. Number 1, shake off, not signs. Shake off that last start. That was really an exception to the way he's been pitching, and get off to a good start today. Have a good beginning that helps put that last start behind him, and especially the way these guys at the top of the order have been swinging the bat.
Pagan at .324 for the year. He had a leadoff homer on Friday night as the Giants beat the Braves behind Tim Lincecum 2-1. San Francisco was victorious 3-1 last night. And that's fouled off Evan Gattis. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Definitely getting ahead is the key for every pitcher, with the exception of the last 2 nights that we saw the San Francisco pitchers pitch behind and be effective. But I think for Alex Wood, the upgrade of his curveball command. Early on in his last start, he struggled to throw it close enough to a strike and then settled in. He's got a good firm fastball. He reminds me a little bit of Chris Sale as far as the funkiness, and his changeup has a fade-like action, but I look for that curveball to be more effectively in the zone.
After jumping ahead quickly, now the counts run full to Pagan.
Neither of the first 2 starters of this series, Minor or Tehran, walked a batter in their time out there. 6 innings and 7 innings each. So that helped, at least in terms of those home runs. That's one of the reasons they were all solo.
That's hit hard towards center, but B.J. Upton will catch it. And Pagan is retired for out number 1. It is a bright sunny day in Atlanta. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Bit of a breeze blowing in, which should help the pitchers this afternoon. And Hunter Pence is the hitter. His 10-game hitting streak was snapped last night, but he still hit safely in 10 of 11 and leads their club in runs scored.
You know, I joked about it a little bit yesterday, but with these 3 days being the weather perfect and you're coming home and you love playing at home, got to find a way to be a little looser. Got to enjoy it. Never is fun when you don't shake hands and you've lost games in a row, but somebody's got to take the bull by the horns and be able to say, you know what, we love playing this game. Let's go out there. Let's be a little looser and make something happen. And you hope that happens today, whether it's an offensive guy or Alex Wood takes the ball and goes all 9. Something has to change, and you need somebody in your locker room to go, let's go, you know, and rattle the guys in a good way to get loose.
That's a bullet past third and into the left field corner by Hunter Pence. And he's on his way to second. He'll take a big turn and stop there. That's the first hit for the Giants. Hunter Pence rips his 7th double.
A lot of Giants fans here too, appreciating that. Slow curveball right in the middle of the plate.
Yeah, the command of that, again, the sharpness of that off the fastball. There's a fine line between what you want to do with your curveball and just being able to throw it for strikes. That wasn't what I was talking about, the ability to throw it for strikes, but make it look closer to your fastball. Down in the zone, they swing over the top.
Buster Posey at 263, 7 homers, 14 RBIs. Homecoming for the Georgia native. And that's outside, ball 1.
The home run he gave up to Giancarlo Stanton in Miami in the 3rd inning in his last start that gave the Marlins a 3-0 lead was a breaking ball that was going to be a strike, but it stayed up and gave Stanton a good look at it.
Stanton, by the way, has already homered today for the Marlins. And they've got Fernandez on the mound against the Dodgers, and they lead 2-0 down in Miami.
Hey, they waged a huge comeback last night. They fell in extra innings to the Dodgers, but the Marlins are scoring a ton of runs.
Marlins and Phillies 2.5 behind the Braves in the cellar in the East. Atlanta begins play today a half game ahead of Washington, and the Mets hanging in there 2 games back. They've been ambushed at Coors Field in Denver. One and 2 for Buster Posey.
With that fastball right there, is trying to go in and left it out over the plate, but the pitch selection actually was good enough to where he was late, maybe thinking about an off-speed pitch, and just fought off the fastball. A hitter like this, you've got to make him aware of the 4 quadrants: in, out, up, down.
Pence doubled with 1 out. Now Wood and Gaddis want to make sure they're on the same page.
Well, this has been an ongoing connection issue, if you will, with a runner at second base, or when the Braves in Florida were trying to go through a series of signs even with no one on base, getting the pitcher and catcher on the same page.
Popped away from Gaddis, and Pence will move up 90 feet. A ball in the dirt, and Pence at third on a wild pitch.
Well, this is that hard curveball that he's trying to get back foot action, and a lot of those early in the last game he had were biting hard enough to where it was trying to be blocked by the catcher, and that one unfortunately skirted off to the right. Runner on third.
Posey inside, outside ball to first base. What a piece of hitting by Posey. Pence scores, and will they call catcher's interference? I believe they will. So Posey will reach on catcher's interference. We've seen that quite a bit with Evan Gaddis as well. And will Pence have to be returned to third base? He will.
That's a break.
Yes, it is.
That is a big break, because a double play still gets you out of the inning without giving up a run.
We see he swings late, catches the glove, the top side of the glove of Gaddis, just barely.
And now Bruce Bochy's going to talk to Alan Porter on the play. I'm sure what he's saying is, look, the ball was put in play. Can we take the result of the play, which would have been the ground out to first, and Pence would have scored on contact? But on catcher's interference, I believe the ball's dead automatically. And that is indeed going to be the case. The Giants are going to take the result of the play, and with that, it will score Hunter Pence. Posey gets the RBI on the ground out. Tom?
Yeah, catcher's interference, you can choose the result of the play as the manager, so obviously he's taking the run for the out, and that's what Bochy had to decide there. The ball isn't, it's not dead until the play is dead in that situation.
And so Penn scores the 19th run of the season for the Giants.
Safe to say, if there were no outs, I think he would take the first and third, nobody out. But given the situation in the first inning, getting a run on the board, he'll trade the out and RBI for the run.
So Posey's 15th RBI, and here's Morse. Giants, by the way, score their first run in the series without a homer.
Yeah, they had already set a major league record for a 3-game series for all their runs being scored by solo homers, but that just snapped any chance of setting the major league record.
That's something Freddie Gonzalez and several of the players were quoted on in the papers this morning. You know, the old saying, usually solo homers don't beat you.
Yeah.
Boy, they have the last 2 games.
Well, the wild pitch factored in here too.
Morse with 8 homers, 22 knocked in. He's riding a 5-game hitting streak for the Giants. Driven foul out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, to show you Alex Wood's lack of luck a little bit, in all the innings he's pitched so far, 18 of them have been behind. He's got a 2.95 ERA when the team is behind, and when he's winning, he's got a 0 ERA. But it's only been 7 innings that he's been out there when the team has been winning. So that's not enough.
That's crazy.
Well, 3 straight starts, no runs of support. 2 of those games against Alex Fernandez, the other A.J. Burnett of the Phillies. And trailing 1-0 here. And strike 3 to Michael Morse. Retires the side. Jose Fernandez is what I meant for the Marlins. He's pitching in Miami. Bumgarner's going to start for the Giants, and he's been staked to a 1-0 lead. Five-game losing streak, the longest in quite some time. The Toyota starting 9 looks very similar. Justin Upton has done great work here at home. It's a personal off day for Braves shortstop Andrelton Simmons. So Ramiro Pena is in, hitting 8th. Braves expect Simmons back in the starting lineup tomorrow night when the Cardinals come to town.
Well, for Bumgarner, another pitcher whose trends are not going in the right direction, but yet they've had team success. Look at the home game ERA on the road. Unfortunately for the Braves, 1.96, but his hits to innings have been extremely high this year. He's struggling with his slider, and certainly the Braves, if they work the count, they could have the advantage on what his season statistics have shown so far.
Jason Hayward will greet him first. Hayward riding a real hot streak at the top of the Braves lineup.
4 keys to success for Bumgarner today is just what you're saying, Johnny. his command problems have been an issue so far this season. 13 walks in 33 innings. And needs a mechanic. Deals with the fact that he has had some problems trying to get some of his mechanics ironed out, and his are not the most simple. Kind of like Alex Wood in a little different long arm way.
And he has an opposite trend than Alex Wood does. When his team is ahead, he's given up a .395 average and a .771 ERA. You would think that would work the other way, and certainly when his team's behind, it's the other way. 198 average, 226 or 226 average, 198 ERA. So a little bit of a funkiness here. The way he throws, long arm, crosses body, cuts the ball. He's struggling with his slider, though. That's one pitch that usually is his go-to pitch.
And there it is, low 90s fastball. And I was watching some of the replays that we had from last year in our open today. With that slider and how effective it was. It almost looks like a left-handed version of Sergio Romo and what he brings to the table in the ninth inning, and how sweeping that slider is to right-handed hitters. Bumgarner's tough on lefties.
Whoa, up and into Hayward.
Well, what he does is in talking to some of the guys over there, he'll have two different breaks. That's more like the curveball that he'll throw right there. The other one's going to look like a cutter. It's going to read about 87, 88, and this one's nothing but a fastball up, and you hate to have a pitcher flirt up in that area. And of course, Hayward not popular there.
And a 93 mile an hour fastball retires Hayward on strikes. One down in the opening inning for Atlanta. Keep an eye on the pitch count for Bumgarner too. Something else that's been problematic for him. He's averaging about 18 pitches an inning. Got Hayward on 7 pitches, and now B.J. Upton the batter. He's hit safely in 7 straight games for the Braves.
I tell you, doing this, you look up information on guys you may not see for a while or see how they're doing. This guy was 34-6 in the minor leagues. I mean, dominated the minor leagues. It's one of the best records I've seen in a while. 2.00 ERA.
He was headed for North Carolina on a baseball scholarship until the Giants selected him in the first round of the draft.
From this part of the country, lives in Lenoir, North Carolina.
Ball, 2 strikes. First 2 hitters in the Braves lineup card are swinging it well right now. We got to get the guys following them to pick up the pace today. That's high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, Hayward 12 out of 13. BJ's on a good run, and he's hitting 7 straight.
Fastball gets Upton. Back-to-back swinging strikeouts for Bumgarner. 2 up, 2 down. And here is Freddie Freeman.
Good fastballs. That one 94.
Well, there's an area that every guy has just above it an inch or 2. They don't see it very well. Down 2 inches, they crush it. That seemed to be in that first at bat the area that BJ did not like. I always find that is such a fine line where that difference is for each hitter. Which door do you open? Which ones are locked for a pitcher to go? And they just see it so much better an inch or 2 here or there.
1 ball, 1 strike for Freddie Freeman, who has a single in each of the first 2 games of this series.
Guy that reminded me of getting away with pitches they shouldn't have was Sid Fernandez. It almost looked like he threw uphill, and everybody swung at the pitch up. And pitches down, they actually would crush sometimes.
See that 4 for 28 for Freddie in recent days, and that first pitch he swung at and came over the top up, pulled to the Braves dugout. Really a lot of top hand. The base hit to right field last night. A lot of top hand. And there you see it again. It's like he's really trying to pull everything, and that's really not Freddie Freeman. He's a guy from left center all the way around.
Good start for Bumgarner and the Giants. They lead 1-0. afternoon for baseball at Turner Field. Our friends at Delta Airlines are proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. We'll see them next Sunday when we'll jump on the charter and head out west to take on the Giants again. We finished with San Francisco here in early May. Braves fans, tomorrow only, the Braves are having a 24-hour ticket sale. Club pavilion seats are only $5 to see the Braves and Cardinals this coming week. And the Braves and Brewers series long visit May 19th through the 22nd. $5 club pavilion tickets are only available this Monday at braves.com/Cinco. Brandon Belt is the batter for the Giants, and quickly behind Alex Wood. No balls, 2 strikes.
Chip, I'm prepared to do something to help the Braves today.
Are you?
Yeah. You know, they say you shouldn't talk out of both sides of your mouth, but today I'm going to. I moved the mic over to the right side of my mouth. I've had it to the left side the first 2 days. Not a lot of success. I'm moving the mic to the right side. That's going to be my contribution, I hope, for a victory today.
You realize you are winless in the booth this year.
I know. I didn't want you to bring that up. I mean, that wasn't a graphic we were going to share today, but I'm just letting you know I'm going to make that change.
Well, since I sit to your right, I really appreciate it.
It's going to happen. You got to do these things, you know. Players wear different socks. They do different things, wear different shirts.
Duly noted, your contribution.
Now, I think I know the answer to this question. You had to be maybe the most superstitious guy in the ball club in your day.
You know what? That's a great question. And I wouldn't say I was superstitious. I wasn't stupid, though. I mean, if something worked, I stayed with it.
Right.
But I wasn't to the point where I had to have, like, my steps counted or step on the line or don't step on the line, that kind of stuff. We did have a ritual once, though. We did burn a guy's shirt. It was so bad. I mean, we burned it, and he put it out, stomped it out, and still tried to wear it because he felt like that was his lucky shirt. He had holes. It was just nasty. And you run into a few of those guys who are over the top.
Ground ball to the right side. Ugla will take care of Brandon Belt. He does for out number 1. That wasn't Charlie Kerfeld's Jetsons t-shirt, was it?
No. But, you know, famous guys like Nomar Garciaparra, Wade Boggs, they had everything down to their steps from the dugout to the plate, to the gloves, to eating chicken every single time. I mean, you run into some of those guys, but, you know, if it was working, I made a conscious decision to try and keep it working.
But when things weren't working, would you result any really drastic stuff to try to change your life?
I throw some stuff away. Yeah. I mean,
ouch. Sandoval hit by a pitch. And Pablo will make his way to first base with 1 man out here in the second.
It was kind of like my theory in golf that I think I'm right. It's not me. It's the putter. So I go through an array of putters. And we look at this one just right on top of the foot. And it would happen that way, you know, blame the shoes, blame certain different things, and move on with it. Be done.
Was any of it ever your fault?
Very rarely. Yeah, you had to take ownership. You put a mirror in your locker for a reason to look at it a little bit.
Outside for Brandon Hicks. 1 ball, no strikes.
But I could say it now. I couldn't say it then. I remember when Brian McCann broke into the game. He caught me his first game. We won 7 in a row, and I happened to have at home, kind of like the guy that's on the mound for the Giants, I guess, a little bit. I cut my grass 7 straight times on a riding lawnmower. It relaxed me the day that I pitched. Now, I couldn't say it then because everyone knows I'm crazy now, but they would have thought he's really lost his mind. But I did things to relax me for the day. I didn't think about pitching. I didn't get carried away with pitching. Some guys you can't talk to. You can't even, you know, the day they pitch, you can't be around them. And
I agree with you. I mean, going out and doing something physical is not a bad thing. Instead of just holing up in the house and trying to hide in the clubhouse and trying to save your energy, I think you're better off moving around a little bit.
So I put the headphones on, go out there, cut the grass, you know, and I loved it.
You had to have hat on too, right?
Oh yeah, it must. It must.
Little dribbler toward third. Chris Johnson charges, throws on the run, and Hicks beats the Rapid first. These are the kinds of sequences when things aren't going well, they just seem to multiply.
You're so right, Chip. Everything is going right for the Giants right now. And Every swinging bunt, every fly ball, every catcher's interference, whatever the case might be. And none of that's happening on the good side for Atlanta.
Brandon Crawford's the hitter.
One thing to pay attention, normally in these situations, the 8-hole hitter in the National League is one of the hardest. It's the hardest position to hit, I think, because you got the pitcher on deck. You don't know if the pitcher's going to pitch to you the way you normally should, but the pitcher on deck can hit in this situation.
And a bouncing ball foul past first. So can Crawford, although he hasn't swung the bat particularly successfully in this series. He's really wearing out left-handed pitching. And obviously with Alex Wood on the mound and a bit of a second inning jam, that's important to note.
Yeah, but I'm confused by both these left-handers not dominating the left-handed batters. I mean, left-handers off of Alex are hitting at a 313 clip so far, which is confusing. And even Bumgarner, they're hitting 353. So little strange statistical categories against their dominant side.
He's in a good spot, 0-2.
Yeah, they both got good fastballs today. And as long as Alex is locating his, he has a chance to win this ball game and hold him at 1 run.
That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll see how well Sandoval can run after being hit by a pitch. Should Crawford make contact here? Popped up foul behind home plate.
I must tell you, along those same thoughts about what you would do when things are going good, eating habits are a part of that routine too. Night game versus day game, obviously different. And night game, you had a pretty good routine of when you would eat. I like to have 3 hours basically of an empty stomach before I would pitch. Some guys, you know, it varies. So a day game brings about different challenges when you're trying to time your eating.
That's never been a problem for us in the booth. Just so you know, as you continue your broadcasting career.
No, you guys are well stocked, by the way.
Day game, night game, split doubleheaders. We can eat.
You could starve to death in an extra inning game if you're not careful.
Hey, John, I'm just curious. 7 straight starts. You went out and mowed the lawn before you took the mound. What did you do on the road?
Those were home starts. I struggled with the road as far as trying to go to a golf course and convince the guy, hey, just let me cut your fairway real quick. It didn't go over real well, but those were home starts that I had some success with.
There's a good pitch from Alex. He gets Crawford to swing and miss. His second strikeout, and Bumgarner, the pitcher, is up.
Took a little off. Nice changeup.
Yeah, the famous Tom Glavine changeup to lefty that he made famous.
Well, you're right about Bumgarner. 3 hits this year, including a grand slam. Fly ball center. And B.J. Upton is there. And he makes the play. Good job by Alex Wood to pitch out of second inning trouble. He trails early 1-0.
the game, though, when I wasn't playing.
Sure. Well, that was a concern for the Giants with Pablo Sandoval. How many hot dogs does the Giants third baseman partake? Apparently he's lost 35 pounds in the offseason. Puig's gotten bigger. Bryce Harper looks a lot bigger than a 10-pound weight gain. Yeah. And CC Sabathia lost 25 pounds. Look at what we've done in the offseason.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Did you take the fact that hair loss is not, that's more like 25 pounds?
I just appreciate the fact they used a picture of me from about 20 years ago. That was nice.
You know, it's interesting, the two guys, Puig and Harper, they burned so much energy. They were finishing the season light.
Yeah.
And their concern was because they play so hard and do all those things, they wanted to put on more weight and more muscle so that when they ended the season, it was closer to the weight they're comfortable with. So I agree with you, by the way. I think Harper has more than 10 pounds.
Yeah, and I don't like the way some of the guys feel like they've got to do it to survive the summer. He was too bulky, looked like to me.
Justin Upton bats for the Braves, leading off the second inning. He has been very productive on his home field this year for the Braves. A .438 home batting average.
You notice in that graphic, I found the pounds you guys lost. I think it was 17 and 13 equal 30. I mean,
it's amazing.
It is amazing how that works.
Is, right?
If you just flip-flop those numbers from minuses to pluses, then you've got all three of our golf games.
That's about right. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, I was lucky, though, for 21 years to stay right around the area you want to. And you definitely feel comfortable at certain weights, you know, and certain body types will gravitate towards that one way or the other.
While we're on the topic of conditioning, and I know everybody that plays professional sports now pays a great deal of attention to it year-round, or they try to. Roger McDowell, I see him running his pitchers in the outfield on occasion, you know, pole to pole or whatever, but rarely you see pitchers out running like you used to as Justin goes down. Do you do all of that conditioning, that cardio conditioning now in the weight room and on a treadmill?
Yeah, some guys do. You guys know what I did. I mean, I shagged like crazy in BP. That's how I stayed in shape. I mean, I loved it. I hate running just to run. If I'm chasing something, I can deal with it. And I think the one thing that has changed in the conditioning has been too specific to maybe look really good. No body fat, over core training a little bit. You're seeing a lot of repeated injuries.
Full foul by Gaddis, strike one to the Braves catcher.
But I think in this game, because it's so long, you have to listen to your body at times where you need to take a break. You've got to work through some of the times you don't feel so good and you're tired. But there really is no excuse to not be, as a pitcher, conditioned for the season. And you do a lot of that indoors on the treadmill. And
liner into center. And Pagan's got that. Gaddis hit it hard, but out. 2 outs for Chris Johnson. Joe, in your era, were guys in the weight room like they are now?
We didn't have a weight room.
Yeah, so that's the answer. No,
yeah,
right?
There was no weight room. And it was, I don't want to say it was forbidden, but it was certainly discouraged to even think about lifting weights.
Yeah, a lot has changed in that category. I mean, you know, you do off-season work to build a base. Whether it's starting, relieving, playing every day, coming off the bench. Then you're really just trying to maintain, because you're going to lose strength throughout the year. You should not be gaining strength. I mean, it's almost impossible with all the days that you play. So if you can maintain and just keep some of that base, you'll be better served at the end of the season. You know, you hear the back gets heavy, the arm gets tired, some of those things. You can adjust for that. But I also believe the mindset has changed to where you don't have certain mindsets that throw 250, play 160 games.
I admire the players today, John, and I think Brian McCann was a good example of that. Working out after a game 2 or 3 times a week to do what you're talking about, to maintain some strength and not get worn down. But that's you really have to be disciplined after a long game, being tired to go in and do your work.
And that's pretty much the changes I had to make as a closer, because there was no time to work on that day. So I would have to work after I pitched, and it made for a longer night. Certainly get home a little bit later. You're one of the last ones to leave, but that's the routine you have to adapt to if you're going to be successful long term. There's some gifted guys in this game that didn't have to do much and get off the bench, and they could flat out rake. You know, they could hit
or pitch
or pitch. You know,
number 31.
Swing and a miss by Chris Johnson. Madison Bumgarner is dealing. He has struck out 4 Braves in his first 2 innings. He took third on a wild pitch and scored on a Buster Posey ground out. And that's the only run of the game so far as the Giants lead 1-0 after 2. All season long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Top of the order coming up for San Francisco as John Smoltz fan closes the ballpark on a sunny Sunday afternoon.
Didn't know your folks were in town.
Just got in, matter of fact. I don't know where they found the jersey, though.
Angel Pagan leads off. All right, let's get in the head of Alex Wood here. It's 1-0. The offense has struck out 4 times in the first 2 innings. Some crazy bounces, some crazy happenings in the opening inning. Saw him give up the run. Is he looking up there saying, here we go again? Yep.
Well, there's a tendency, but you got to have blinders on. I mean, you really do. And I've said this for the last 2 years. The maturity of these young guys, not only the development for their pitching staff, but their ability to not show any frustration has been incredible. Credit Roger McDowell, credit who's been bringing these guys up, because it's natural that once in a while you're going to get frustrated with tendencies that repeat themselves. And they just look, they're doing their job. They're pitching extremely well. And like we said yesterday, when it turns, you've got to be on that side when it turns. You can't be like, well, guys, I had 6 games where you didn't show up, and give me a break. I had 1 bad game.
You were here when Roger came along, right?
Yes.
I think and Terrence Moore wrote a great story about him a couple of weeks ago about him being one of the most underrated coaches in any sport in Atlanta. And I agree with him. I think he does a great job.
Very underrated and very liked by.
Base hit by Pagan on a full count pitch.
A lot of the pitchers, because of his easygoingness. And look, again, in this game, I don't make light of everything, but you got to have some breaks and fun. You know, you can't be all serious. You can't be breaking down mechanics 24/7. You can't watch video all day. You can't drive yourself crazy in this game. And I think that's one of the attributes of Roger McDowell that doesn't allow you to get too carried away with, oh, I'm struggling or it's not working. Let's have some fun and enjoy what you're doing. And I had to be reminded, believe it or not, to take time to enjoy what I had loved to do my whole life, because he gets such a job and he gets so scrutinized. You forget to have fun.
Well, we're just talking about physical conditioning. There's mental fatigue too that can come along with what you're talking about, and overthink things, and hitters certainly are victimized by that.
It's crazy. I had a Italian grandmother growing up, full-blooded Italian. She didn't know much about sports. She grew to like it because that's what I did. But she used to tell me, you never smile, because I had this intense look on the mound, and that's what I wanted to be. And I remember, you know, when she passed, I remember making it a moment every game to, at one point, tried to get it before I gave up the 8 runs or 6 runs when it was bad, but I tried to smile or laugh and look at somebody and at least remind myself that, you know, this game's supposed to be fun, and it helped. That's why I tell everybody, whoever experiences their first of something, first start, have fun. It's one of your last times to really have fun. It's your free game you're given to enjoy the moment, and then every 5 starts, it's a job.
Swing and a miss by Pence. That's why personally I enjoy watching Jose Fernandez of the Marlins pitch so much, considering what he's been through in his life. As he said, do you think I'm going to be afraid of facing David Wright with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 9th inning? No chance. It's really refreshing.
You know, there's a different culture that's brought into our game that was scrutinized a little bit because of the showmanship. But you saw it in the World Baseball Classic, I did for the first time. The Dominican Republic went nuts and crazy and had fun and won it, you know. And we tend to be more ABCD type baseball because that's what we've been used to and seen. But they enjoy this game. They've come from another country, you know. Some of it gets carried away. I mean, we know the difference between the two, but.
Did you play in the games in Puerto Rico? Did you pitch down there?
I did. That was.
How about that atmosphere?
It was unbelievable.
Vuvuzelas. That caught the inside corner. Good pitch to retire Pence.
Again, his fastball has been very good. The base hit by Pagan to start the inning was a changeup that was a little mislocated, if you will.
Well, you know, he has a lot of moving parts and kind of falls towards third base, but he's staying on that fastball. And what I mean by that is staying on plane. He's not pulling off of it. And to get the location early on, he missed a little bit. Buster Posey tried to go in and he fell off of it and threw it away. Those are the pitches that are going to make him very successful. Everyone talks about whether the future of his mechanics will correlate to anything else. Look, this guy's been pitching like this for a while, and you leave him alone. You let his funkiness be his advantage. Just upgrade that curveball a little bit. Make that become the pitch that he works on to continue his maturity and success in the big leagues. That's the beauty of being a starting pitcher. You have a bullpen in between every start that you can get better as the year goes on. You can upgrade. Use those bullpens to your advantage.
Here's a good breaking ball. 0-1 to Posey.
I used to get that mat, that catcher's mat that they would sit on in the bullpen, so that I wanted to work at throwing balls in the dirt. People think, well, just throw it in the dirt anytime you want. It's not that easy. So I'd get that mat so the balls would not get scuffed up and you go through a different ball. And I would practice bouncing the curveball, bouncing the slider for situations that you would want, or getting that split to bounce, and vice versa, learning how to throw the ball up and working hard at those areas so that I could bring it slowly into a game. And the younger pitchers that do that are going to, their future is brighter.
Runner goes, the pitch low. Gaddis's throw is high and not in time. 5th steal for Pagan.
That's a really interesting point you just made, John, that you actually were practicing making bad pitches, if you will.
Right.
And so that if you needed to make a bad pitch in the dirt, you'd practiced it a little bit. Who in the world goes to the bullpen to practice making bad pitches?
Greg Maddux would always pitch out of the stretch for the most part in the bullpen. And, you know, you ask him the questions because most of my clutch or big pitches I got to make are going to be out of the stretch.
Makes total sense once you think about it. 2 balls and a strike for Buster Posey.
But I can honestly say I think that's one of the most misused parts of the game. Guys don't understand what the bullpen is intended to do. You know, just loosen your arm, just get loose between your starts. It's an opportunity to get better every start.
A lot of deep counts for Alex Wood so far in the game. That was his 56th pitch. He's got one out here in the third.
And we did it obviously different. We threw twice in between every start for forever. Not as long as you would one time, but twice as much.
And Posey draws a walk.
Did you throw on your second and third days? What was the?
Yeah, I'd take the threw on Monday, took Tuesday off, through Wednesday, Thursday, take Friday off, pitch on Saturday.
Okay.
And the freshness of that was unbelievable. You know, you're talking, I don't know, on a given day, 45 to 60 pitches maybe each time. But it was limited effort. It was 60 to 70%. It wasn't, I'm going to get loose and get heated up like I'm facing one batter or two batters. And you just got more familiar with your pitches. You upgraded your pitches. You felt like you were pitching kind of in a four-man rotation. And it worked. It worked for close to 3,000 innings between the three of us with our staff for making all our starts and having success along the way.
Dangerous sequence here as Michael Morse is the batter. He struck out looking to end the Giants first.
Now for a guy like David Hale, who was in the rotation, now goes in the bullpen and is going to be used for. He doesn't have that luxury as much. He can't really throw a lot of bullpens because you never know when you're going to be. The reliever just has the limited access to that. Now they may throw, you know, before the game a little bit, and that would probably be good if they hadn't pitched in 3 or 4 days. But that's the major difference between the guys that come out of the pen.
Nice pickup by the Giants to get Mike Morse for a year.
And I like Mike Morse. I like his swing. I like his setup. Like you said, dangerous because he's so strong, big and strong. Second in the National League in slugging percentage. But as you watch him, especially from center field, I've got a different angle sitting up here, but he's got his arms way out away from him, and typically with when the guy's arms are out away from him, you can bust him inside pretty readily. But he starts with a slightly open stance, and it's not like he really moves his hands a lot, but he moves his shoulder, his front shoulder. He turns it in, and as a result, his hands go back into a more normal hitting position.
Five homers and 11 RBIs for Morse over the last 10 games for the Giants. He has 3 hits in this series, 2 solo homers. That's driven to right. Long run for Hayward, and the ball slicing toward the seats and out of play. We've talked about the Giants and their home run hitting prowess. But like the Braves, fellas, this San Francisco team has really had trouble of late with runners in scoring position, too. As a team, they're hitting .178 with runners at second and third base over their last 19 games. So they, too, are living and dying with the home run ball.
But much like the Braves, when they got off to such a good start, Chip, they're still finding a way to win. They've won 8 of their last 9 despite some of these offensive issues, and thanks to home runs, they score enough to win.
Another meeting with Gaddis and Alex Wood.
Fought off a changeup there. Struck him out looking his first time up on a fastball that I think Morse thought was high. They kind of came up and in on him.
That went up and away, and Morse is down on strikes. He asks if it was a strike. Not sure that it was. 2 outs.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to break the bat with his teeth. He just put right to his mouth. Man, missed that.
Big second out. Here's Belt. Belt's grounded out to second in the second for the Giants. Most of Belt's damage has come on the road, but he's been a very streaky hitter. Right now he's in one of the bad streaks for the Giants. 2 for his last 26 with 14 strikeouts. In the air to center. Upton will give ground, and he's there to make the play. Giants strand a couple more in the 3rd inning. Bottom part of the Braves order coming up. Down 1-0. Here in Atlanta. Time for today's AT&T Uverse trivia question. Name the last Giants left-hander to win 20 games.
Oh, shoot. Yep, here.
Did we have this question before? Probably. And I got it right. If this was the question I'm thinking of, get back to it.
My first guess is Atlee Hammer.
It's a good one. They had a pitcher named Bryant that had a teddy bear that sat in the dugout with him. They called him Bear Bryant.
That's not a surprise. The little pop in the center. The guy was there. One man out. If it was Sam Sparty, he would have been right all over, right? Yeah. 7 up, 7 down for Bumgarner. And here's Ramiro Pena. Again, if just joining us, Andrelton Simmons is not playing today for a personal, private family matter. He is able to pinch hit today, but Freddie Gonzalez wants to give Andrelton the day today and expects him to be ready to go for Game 1 against the Cardinals here tomorrow night.
I'm having a hard time so far through the first 7.5 batters. I'm thinking that this is the guy that I was hearing about all these command problems and issues. Looking at his numbers, giving up 45 hits and 33 innings coming in.
Well, they definitely said he's been working on it in the bullpen, on his side sessions, trying to get that figured out.
Well, he and Alex Wood have a lot to talk about because Bumgarner's been poorly supported too. Giants have scored 6 runs for him during his 3-game losing streak.
He's 24 now, but he made a start in the World Series, I think, when he was 21. And in his career, he's made 2 World Series starts, and he hasn't allowed a run. 15 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 14 strikeouts.
That's popped into the seats, foul by Pena. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And they love his makeup, and that probably has something to do with his easygoingness and the ability to just be, at that time of the year, not fazed by much. And you know, for the Giants again, if they get on track with some of the guys that are struggling in their rotation, don't hand the Dodgers anything.
That breaks up the perfect game bid. Pena with a single with 1 out. And now let's see how the Braves play it with Alex Wood.
Romero now 2 for 7 against lefties. Switch hitter, as you know. Turned on a pretty good pitch.
If Wood is bunting, let's hope he has better success. That has been a big problem for this Braves ball club in the first 5+ weeks of the season. They have not bunted much at all, and certainly for the pitching staff, not very successful at all. In fact, the Braves come into play today as a National League team in their 30th game with a grand total of 4 sacrifices.
Yeah, that's got to change, Chip. I think, look, when you're bunting and you want to be in an athletic position, I think he's going to get out there and really, you don't want the weight distribution messed up. You want to use that bat and get it out in front as your eyes and be able to do exactly what he just did.
And look at what happens. Bumgarner throw it away. Pence bobbles the ball in right. And the Braves get a bunt down and have runners at first and third with 1 out.
Way to go, Alex.
Well, he's obviously been working on it because he kept everything still. His head didn't move. His bat was out in front of him. You're never going to get hit by a ball when you can look and keep the bat right there as your eyes. And it doesn't have to be a perfect bunt, as you just saw right here. That is getting the job done. Of course, step and throw, and he just eases off the gas a little bit and lets it sail.
What were we talking about last night? 60 feet 6 inches, no problem, but
yeah, that arm angle got underneath the ball. And of course, you know, the other thing is you're looking at the second baseman coming in who's different than the taller Belt. So there's a lot of, that's why pressure, making guys move, doing the simple things, and you mentioned only 4 going into this game, help turn your team around. It's the little things, the error that could actually get you to score some runs when it's been hard to come by.
Very effective sequence for Bumgarner in the first to get Jason Hayward. Remember, he fired a fastball up and in to Jason and then struck him out with a low 90s fastball. First and third for the Braves with 1 out.
One of the things I would like to see as Alex Wood, the first baseman, okay, is in front of him. But his lead's got to be bigger. You got to get as big a jump as you can if the ball's hit on the ground. I know you're a pitcher and all that, but you still got to be able to get off the bag and a ball on the ground and help any way you can break up a double play.
High fly to center. Pagan is under it. Pena will tag at third, and the Giants will concede the run. A sac fly from Jason Hayward ties our game 1 apiece.
like you said, execution. Took advantage of the error and tied the ball game up. Good at bat for Jason after falling behind in the count against a tough left-handed pitcher.
See, to me, that goes under the radar because it'll go down as an average lower with runners in scoring position. Well, not in that case because it's a sac fly, but the fact that you could get a bunt down and do the things that is going to create more opportunities for you to score.
Upton swings the first pitch and pops it to shallow left. Crawford, looking up into the sun, will make the play in front of Michael Morse. Jason Hayward's 8th RBI ties our game 1 apiece heading to the 4th. It's brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer. Ramiro Pena motored around the bases after a sacrifice, a pitcher's throwing error, and a Jason Hayward sacrifice fly. So Alex Wood doesn't have to worry about being shut out today. Now he wants to keep the Giants at 1 and let his bats go back to work. Giants have had some chances in the early innings with several deep counts from Alex, but San Francisco's wrist problems have continued. They're 0 for their first 5 today.
Yeah, but that ought to invigorate Alex a little bit, and allow him to be a little more aggressive and not pick quite as much, trying not to make a mistake that might lead to another run. He's back even. He can get after it a little better now.
Yeah, that's a common problem when streaks go this way. Again, I will take my chances that 3 runs are not going to beat me. That's my gauge. 2 or less, stay there. And the tendency is to pitch yourself not only to only give up 1 run, you'll actually put yourself into a 3 and 4 run inning because you're trying to be perfect. You'll pitch around guys because you say, I can't give up a run, yet alone 2. The next thing you know, you've given up a crooked number.
Pablo Sandoval is the man leading off the 4th for San Francisco. Wood hit him with a pitch back in the 2nd inning. Alex is going right after him with the hard stuff. And 2 foul balls has Sandoval behind 0-2.
Well, your offense is invigorated too, especially by the way the Braves scored the run in the bottom of the 3rd inning. If you're Freddie Freeman, who's scheduled to lead off, you want Freddie to work fast and let me get in there again.
Good start. Sandoval down on 3 pitches. 5 strikeouts for Alex Wood. 1 down in the 4th.
High target, high delivery. Good results.
Brandon Hicks with an infield hit back in the 2nd inning. With a dribbler down the 3rd base line that Chris Johnson got to.
His throw to first was a tad late. Happy for Brandon getting a chance to play with the Giants.
Me too. Good guy. He's worked hard. He's had to spend a lot of time in the minor leagues. Some of that because he had things to work on and improve on. But he's proven himself very valuable here to the Giants.
5 homers for Hicks, who had 3 career homers in the big leagues before this season.
And one was a walk-off in their last homestand.
Couple of bad throws back from Gaddis to Alex Wood.
Make it a little easier on him, Evan.
Hicks is down on strikes. That's number 6 for Alex Wood. 2 out.
John, we've talked about Alex from the get-go about his makeup, his focus, his concentration level, that sneer you were talking about that you had all the time. He's got it. And at a young age, no matter what kind of problems he might be in, he's still got that same look about him.
Well, and that's what I liked about him going to spring training and trying to figure out where he's going to be. He's, and everyone talking about, I'm going to pitch my way on the staff. He's really done a great job.
And I think that's a good point. People forget, before Medlin and Beachy were hurt, I think it's safe to say that Alex Wood had to pitch his way into the starting rotation. I don't think he was guaranteed a spot. But then when Medlin and Beachy suffered their elbow injuries, that paved the way for Alex, and he didn't coast. He had a great spring. As Crawford pumps one into the seats, foul to the left side. 0-2.
Well, if a lot of you are at home or like me, Joe used the word invigorate, to give strength or energy to something or someone, because I was a little confused, So I like the word. I'm going to use that in future broadcast, if that's okay.
You might want to write it down because I know you won't remember.
No, I got it. I'm writing it down. Invigorate.
Okay.
You can invigorate the team. That's what I even said right here.
I'm going to invigorate you if you won't put that away.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Wind swirling around the ballpark. It was blowing toward right a moment ago, now toward left. And sure enough, Crawford hits it to right and deep. Hayward back on the warning track, and it's gone. Brandon Crawford has hit a solo home run. Every run but one for the Giants in this series has been a solo homer. Second of the year for Crawford. San Francisco's back in front.
Boy, this is a pretty swing, guys. I mean, he kept his hands in. Low pitch, just dropped the barrel on it. Watch his hands. Hips cleared, got the hands through, and that ball just jumped.
So Bumgarner back in front, and he takes the ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
That was a Chipper Jones swing.
Yeah.
Belt high and a beauty. Bumgarner shoots one toward right center field, and that'll drop for a 2-out hit.
Yeah, Bumgarner's a moose. 6'5", 235. And obviously can swing the bat, but he is a big guy with some broad shoulders. I've used the keys and I said he needs a mechanic. Well, there's a little backstory to that about how he grew up, and I believe it was a farm type setting in North Carolina, but grew up around a lot of machinery, knew how to operate stuff. And there was a story about the Giants bus in Colorado breaking down between Denver's airport and Denver. They had to pull the bus over. Bus wouldn't start. One of the teammates said, "Hey, bum, see what you can do." He got out of the bus, cranked up the bus for him, and they went on into town. Fixed it.
Making everyone in the Giants traveling party a big Madison Bumgarner fan.
Madison Bumgarner. It's not just Madison who's good with his hands. That's his father, Kevin, who built the log cabin that the Bumgarner family, Madison specifically, grew up in. Yeah, he's from Braves country up near Lenore, North Carolina, but not specifically in Lenore. In fact, 9 miles south and then 10 miles northwest of Hickory in an area called Bumtown. About 100 Bumgarner family members live in that area. And that's how that name, that area got its nickname. Not necessarily a town, but a famous name made even more famous when Madison made the big leagues.
That's a great story. So I have a feeling all those folks know how to do a little farming, a little hunting, a little fishing.
Fix a bus.
Fix a bus. The story was he got out of the bus, went back to the back of the bus, outside work, went up to the front door, looked at the driver, said, "Try it."
And for those of you who have not made that trek from the Denver airport to downtown Denver, we were joking last night about John's Day yesterday. It is almost in Omaha.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're stuck on a bus by the airport, it could take you weeks to make it to downtown Denver. He just struck out Freeman for his 5th strikeout in the game, and now Justin Upton bats. He was caught looking to start the Braves second. 2-1 Giants. Braves with 1 run and 1 hit.
One of the disconcerting things that Bumgarner does for you as a hitter, especially left-handed, is that he turns his head too. He takes his eye off home plate when he does that big shoulder turn. I don't mean just looking down, but when everything pivots, his head goes with it. He's not even looking at you.
Posey held it there, but it missed high. 3-0.
He's down. But right there, he's looking in the Braves dugout. He's not looking at home plate.
very few can get away with it. I mean, the famous one, Fernando Valenzuela, looked up to the sky before he delivered home. And taking your eyes off the target's not a bad thing. It's not even something that you worry about. But turning away, as you're saying, and not even looking to the last minute would add to some, would think, control issues. But his whole delivery is unique to himself because he's so big and cumbersome. It takes a long arm action to get to home. So they're going to give time for Upton, who was barking a little bit after that foul ball.
That was a direct hit. Well, that was Schinberger. Oh my, that will look like a marshmallow on his leg.
Remember Chipper Jones in Tampa Bay a couple of years ago? That was on a batted ball when B.J. Upton smoked a shot to third base, caught Chipper on the shin, sent him to the disabled list.
Right.
If it wasn't 3-2, I know exactly where they're going to go with this pitch.
Yeah.
Got him with a fastball.
I have the utmost respect for any hitter who does that. It's a ball off your foot, ankle, shin, knee, and is able to somehow regroup and get a base hit. It's phenomenal. So for Justin after that to fan, totally understandable. You're so distracted.
And you heartless pitchers.
Yeah, I hate to admit it. If somebody does that, you're going to go back in there because the body and mind just don't connect well after fouling one off. And you throw a pitch right back in there, and you're just so tentative as a hitter to want to have to fire the, swing the bat.
Well, you want to cry.
Yeah.
You want to just cry, but you can't. And you want to bunt, but you're the cleanup hitter, so you can't. Because then you'd have to run.
You can't.
You can't.
A couple of real slow breaking balls from Bumgarner in this sequence. He's got a chance to strike out the side here in the fourth.
You know, I never could really pull a ball, so I never had that issue of hitting one off your foot or shin. We had an extra inning game. Derek Lilliquist went in, pinch hit, fouled one right off his foot. For 2 innings, he was icing his foot and ankle. I had to pinch hit. The game went into extra innings. I'll be darned if I was laughing at him. It happened to me.
Baseball
smoked
gods.
it.
That was fouled off the home plate umpire, Alan Porter.
Well, chest protector too.
Yeah, I tell you, the old days, the umpires would have that big old thing over their chest and sit over the catcher, and you rarely saw anybody get hit. Now is always an exposed part for an umpire. They got technology, and of course that chest protector is a lot lighter, but they're subject to a lot of those foul tips, and they don't want to get it off the arm, which is not protected.
I wonder why they got away from the balloons.
It's interesting, and I never really got a definitive answer other than probably it was awkward, looked weird, but I thought that you actually could call strikes better. I mean, you're right over the catcher. You're squared behind the catcher, and now it's lighter. It's breathe. You breathe easier. It's a lot easier to move around, of course, but now an umpire will pick a section in, set up in, or set up away.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that setup right there.
I know
because if we could see it from back here that he had to move so far to the left and then crane his neck a little bit to see.
That's exactly right. And
watch how he turns his head here to peek.
And I always talk about in the telecast about, as a pitcher, you've got to know which side you can get the guessed strike. I mean, they can't be perfect. They can't see the other side that well. But in their setup, they would tell you that's what
I like the guys that set up in the middle and stay in the middle. No matter what the catcher moves inside, outside, they're still over the center of the plate.
Well, you're going to get the inside corner, the outside corner, and the high strike, which has almost disappeared in the game now.
Right. You might miss a few low ones, but you're centered over the plate.
And Bumgarner does strike out the side. Gaddis chased, didn't get it, and 7 strikeouts for the Giants left-hander, who leads by a 2-1 score.
By Georgia Power and Sherwin-Williams.
Top of the 5th, Giants 2, Braves 1. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
And I think we decided last night we're going to make a editorial decision from the broadcast booth. Dog photos are fine, but no hats on the dogs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. You send in a picture of a dog with a hat on it.
Hunter Pence starts off the 5th for the Giants. He doubled and scored their first run in the first inning. Pence 2 for 10 in the series with 5 strikeouts.
He does not get cheated.
Popped up over the Braves dugout. Foul. That'll be into the seats. And we'll do it again. 0-2. The Giants will head up to Pittsburgh after this game. They've got a 3-game series with the Pirates starting tomorrow night. Then they head back to the West Coast for a 4-game set with the Dodgers beginning Thursday night. At the end of that road trip, they'll welcome the Braves in Miami to town. Then they go to Colorado. So both these ball clubs really have very important stretches coming up. Johnson, bare hand play, high at first, and it drew Freeman off the bag, and Pence will have an infield hit. Second hit for Hunter Pence. Here's Posey.
That was really a good pickup by Chris. Just couldn't get it down in the area where Freddie could keep his foot on the bag. Talking about Bumgarner making that start in the World Series at 21. He and Posey were the youngest battery in World Series history. Bumgarner made that start.
Well, John made an interesting point. Everybody sort of ceded the division out west to the Dodgers. It's not working out that way. Right now it's a 3-team race with the Colorado Rockies in the mix as Posey rips one to right. Things will stop at second. 2 on, nobody out. The Rockies came back and won last night. They beat the Mets, who had a big lead. Kyle Farnsworth blew the save with a game-ending home run for Colorado. Big blow in that game also was Nolan Arenado, Gold Glove winner at third base, hit a grand slam and now has a 23-game hit streak.
Good looking player.
And Roger McDowell is out for a visit.
Yeah, Alex, he got underneath a couple pitches there, and when I mean get up underneath, with his mechanics, you don't want to feel like you're throwing uphill. So the ball, your hand is underneath your delivery, which means your body hasn't caught up. When he stays, even with his funkiness, when he stays and gets down through the ball has life, and you've seen those strikeouts. But when the ball is up, even when he's not intended it to get up, it's more hittable to the hitter than when his mechanic funkiness creates that life when he stays down. So it's just a mechanical checkpoint.
Can that happen from a simple thing as overstriding, and even as many pitches as he's already made today, just somehow get a little out of sync with his stride?
It can. It could also happen trying to be too fine, you know, because so many things have to happen right for him. He's got the dropped arm, he's got the shoulder, right shoulder goes up, but it all adds to his deception when he throws the ball correctly. So it really comes down to stress of a game being close, 2-1 again, trying to make good pitches against a great hitter, and sometimes you get out of it and the ball sails up and then a good hitter goes to right field like Posey did.
Michael Morse the hitter, 2 on, nobody out. So close games, no run support. Is that a product of the pitch counts and deep counts for Alex Wood to a certain degree?
It can be. You know, not every day you're going to come out and have your best stuff. So you search and you battle and you try to pitch accordingly to the game. And this is a perfect example here where this adds up. This is where I would say, and not to get off on another tangent, but this is where I would say the pitch counts are all wrong. Meaning we want to quantify pitch count by a number. This inning right here, whether it was the second inning or the fourth inning, those pitch count stress pitches are going to be greater than just throwing an amount of pitches. So here we are in the fifth inning, and he's already well up into the 80s in pitches. This will add to the stress. So this is why you got a guy up in the pen. This is why probably not going to last much longer for Alex Wood, and it has nothing to do with him reaching a pitch number.
Well, to back up what you're saying, he gave up a run in the first. He had 2 runners on in the second, 2 runners on in the third, a home run in the fourth. He has not had a 1, 2, 3 inning.
Correct.
1-1 for Morse.
And to go a little further with that, I know people don't understand what I'm about to say, but you could throw, if you didn't care about results, you could throw 180 straight fastballs in a game and it not be that taxing. You know, guys throw BP all the time, and what makes it more difficult to quantify, and a pitching coach has to look at it, and a manager's got to assess, man, he's been working really hard. Mentally, you can understand why Alex might be getting.
How about that pitch over the inside corner, and Morse is struck out for the 3rd time today.
That's just a really good breaking ball that he was able to throw over the plate into the back area where it throws Morse, and now a chance with the lefty on lefty to get out of this. Hopefully a ground ball double play, but
well, Belt has, especially like his first time up today, tried to pull the ball and hit a ground ball to second. And despite his home run last night, he's just 2 for his last 27.
Little pop to third. Chris Johnson in foul ground's going to handle that. Belt pops out. 2 down, and the Giants, I think, go for 7 now with runners in scoring position in the game.
See, and again, box score is not going to show. If he can get out of this inning, what a great start this has been. It hasn't been a perfect start. It hasn't been his best stuff. But it's been a battling start on a team that needs you to keep them close because the runs have not been coming in bunches or many at all. I look at those starts, and he might be critical as a young player, which I would have been. Like, oh, man, I only went 5, or I maybe eked out 6. I threw too many pitches out of the zone. But he battled, you know. And so he's got a chance to feel real good about 7 hits possibly 5 innings, only 2 runs, and keep his team in the game.
Yeah, the 2 pitches I think he wishes he had back are the home run ball and the wild pitch. You think about it.
Right.
And when you've thrown 96 and you really only have a quibble with 2.
Yeah,
got to learn to live with that, don't you?
You do. And the hard part is if, and I'm sure he's dealt with this, if you lose close games and they're asking you about 1 pitch, that's really not what pitching should be about. You know, sometimes it comes down to 1 pitch, but when you're only giving up 2 runs or 1 run, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's rare that they say, you know, that it could have been 5-1 today when you got beat if you hadn't made those good pitches.
Yeah, they don't say
in
that.
the 3rd or 4th inning. They don't ask that question.
No.
And the same for a hitter. Look at the line score, it's 0 for 4, but they don't say, wow, he hit 4 balls to the warning track. You know, well, if he can get out of this, going through Morse, Belta, and Sandoval, and not allow a run to the Giants, boy, what a lift that could be for the Braves, who trail 2-1 here in the 5th. This has been an area for Sandoval and the Giants. It's really been frustrating. Now 68 runners on base with Sandoval at the plate. He's knocked in 4 of them.
Yeah, and 2 strikes has not been his friend. He just broke a horrific long streak of not getting a hit with 2 strikes on him. It's the rare commodity where you can do anything you want up and down and get him to aggressively go after it. Now you could bounce his curveball, and there's a good chance he's going to be going after it based on the track record. And when a hitter starts tracking the ball and taking those pitches, then you have to adjust your game plan. But up until this point, he has not shown to adjust. So don't throw anything close to the strike zone.
Sandoval was reaching for that pitch and fouled it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, 101 pitches for Wood, but add the stress factor. I'm guessing it's like 130, 140, considering how many base runners the Giants have had today. Two and 2.
See, and those are good 2 takes. And we've seen earlier in the season or series, he'd been swinging at those pitches.
Right.
So now it tells me down is more of an open spot, right-handed, because we saw him left-handed attack some of those pitches up.
Big pitch in this ball game right here.
Yeah, we'll see if they both have the guts to throw a curveball down. They've gone up, missed up 3 times. He's got the opportunity to throw a changeup as well down.
Benson Posey will run with 2 outs and a full count for Pablo Sandoval. Popped him up. Freeman looking into the sun is there, and what a job by Alex Wood. 2 on, nobody out, and the Giants can't get the ball out of the infield.
St. Louis Cardinals are coming in next. Be nice to see the team from the National League Central. Their struggles eerily mirror the Braves' struggles. They lost yesterday to the Cubs 3-0. All 3 runs the Cubs scored came on home runs. The offense has been missing for St. Louis only 11 times in the last 31 games. They scored 1 run or fewer. Now, the pitching staff has changed just a little bit. Remember, under Dave Duncan, they pitched to contact all the time. They had great results. Well, now they're one of the best strikeout teams in the National League. They got 2 guys in the top 10 in strikeouts, including Michael Wacha and Adam Wainwright. So this is a St. Louis team that's looking for its identity as they come to town. Chip?
Indeed they are, Tom. Last year, you'll recall the Cardinals, as Chris Johnson singles on the first pitch in the home 5th. They had a ridiculous team batting average with runners in scoring position, well over 300, maybe 330. The Cardinals this year, they're hitting 186 with runners in scoring position in the last 7 games on the road. That is a severe drop off, and not much power either. The Cardinals have hit only 20 homers.
Yeah, they're just a couple of notches ahead of Atlanta in that risk category. Good start here to the inning, though. But the first pitch ripped to left.
Dan Uggla popped out to center in the Braves' third, so he's 0 for 1. And a bounding wall foul at third.
You're talking about the shifts last night, John, maybe the night before, and this is a case right here where you just love to see Dan spoil it with the first baseman having to hold a runner on. There's nobody on the right side. Just ground a single to right like a hit and run play.
Well, and again, I'm not saying mindset gets everything done, but if you don't have the mindset of that, there's no way to get it done. You just do it by accident. So if you're looking to try to hit a gap, hit a double, hit a homer, and they're pitching you in, it's exactly what the one-way shift has been productive. And it's on the ground, it's proven to be working.
Fly ball well hit toward left. Morse back near the fence, leads and makes the grab. Uggla thought he got it out of here, but Morse at the wall took some punishment and maybe delivered some too. There's the first out.
He may have saved a homer, and if he did, it's the second Braves hitter at home to be robbed of a home run. Pretty close there.
Yeah, but you got to sell that. I mean, if you want to make any highlights, you got to sell that. It's like the car commercial. You jump a lot higher after you catch it. No way.
Ryan Ludwig robbed Freddie Freeman of a homer last homestand.
Here's Pena. He singled and scored the lone Braves run. He came home on a Hayward sacrifice fly. Is that how you guys do that at the MLB Network? Really have to sell the highlight before he makes the reel?
That's what I did when I was shagging. I can guarantee all those robbed home runs were not all robbed home runs, but they sure look like it. I just yank that glove after you catch it way over the fence and come back.
I'm sure Bobby and Leo's blood pressure stayed very low while you were doing that.
Oh, yeah, they were probably a little nervous.
A strike for Pena, who showed bunt. Belt and Sandoval came pinching in at the corners at first and third. 2-1 Giants. The Braves with 2 hits today.
You wish more stadiums were actually built like this, though, because they got a gap between the wall and the fan. And it's a great park from this. There's no controversy. You know, too many parks want that experience where the fans right on top of the. I mean, there's been so many more home runs affected by a fan reaching out, and I know we have replay and all that. But this is a well-constructed park in every way.
No way a fan can interfere with a home run ball here. And yet they're just that much removed from being right on top of the field for that front row seat. It's not that far back.
A little low, 2 balls and a strike. Tyler Pasternak, he's grabbed a bat. He'll pinch hit for Alex Wood, barring a double play here.
Romero pulled the ball last time up for that base hit. He's got some room on the right side too, and he handles the bat real well. And if he gets another breaking ball away here from Bumgarner, it might be a good pitch to take to right field.
Popped up. Posey near the on deck circle. He won't have a play. Before the new SunTrust Club seats were put in here a couple of years ago, that probably would have been a pop out. So the stadium renovations at Turner Field saved Pena from a second out. Strike three. Pena went up and away. Well, the Braves had some frustrating swings last night too, chasing bad balls out of the strike zone. That one didn't appear to be a strike either. That's the second out.
That was one thing Freddie Gonzalez talked about, and that strike him out, throw him out double play when he sent Freeman first and third. And he said, I was just hoping for some contact there, and unfortunately Evans swung at ball 4, would have loaded the bases.
So 8 strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner and Tyler Pastornicky for Alex Wood, who leaves after 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs.
This is 3 straight starts, and this is a borderline. Would he have gone another inning? A little borderline here for Alex, but this is 3 straight starts where the lack of scoring has forced the hand of Freddie Gonzalez to have to try and pinch hit and get a run across. .104 pitches for Alex. He might have had one more inning in him, but a runner on base and a chance for somebody to hit one in a gap and drive him in.
And a shot the other way by Pastornicky. There's a good piece of hitting. Chris Johnson around second. He'll take third, and the Braves have him at the corners with 2 outs. And Joe, the other part of forcing your hand is you don't want to get into the late innings trailing this Giants bullpen.
Not from what we've seen the last 2 nights.
It seems so easy when somebody executes that, which we've been talking about and waiting for, going with the pitch, not trying to do too much. And now much needed 2 out something. 2 out dribbler, bloop, bomb.
Hayward the hitter. He has a strikeout and a sac fly. And a quick strike.
Perfect pitch.
That's that cutter slash slider. He's got 2 versions of it. You see it 88 miles an hour. Ball's going to cut a few small inches across the plate. Caught the outside corner.
Tried a little further outside, and Hayward watched it sail off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnson and Pastornicky have singled in the Braves' 5th. That was taken high. 2 balls and a strike.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners today, up out of the zone. Good take by Jason. Couldn't get him to chase up there. This is that 9th inning at bat. We'll talk about how hard the Braves worked 2 nights ago, trying to get a run or 2 across against Romo in the 9th inning. Really made him work. This is one of those types of at bats, as well as Bumgarner's pitching.
Similar pitch to what Hayward saw in the 1st inning, although not nearly as high.
He followed that up with a fastball and got him to chase.
Typically when you see that, in most cases you get a situation like that and you've got a big curveball, you might throw that next, but I agree with you, Joe. He went right back in there, and Hayward swung the ball and was really frustrated with himself early on.
Pasternak is running at first, and Hayward pops it out of play. Foul. Jason's had a good series. We'll show you more on that. Our SunTrust shining moment.
Not just this series, but his last 13 games, he's hit safely in 12 of them. And his average has reflected that improvement. He's up to 226 coming into play today.
Popped up. Sandoval and Crawford. It'll be the Kung Fu Panda. He'll make the play. And that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We head to the 6th.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by Authority.
San Francisco 2, Atlanta 1 after 5 innings of play. The day is done for Alex Wood. He'll give way to David Hale, who's now appearing in his 7th game for the Braves. You might recall David pitched in the 9th inning here last night.
Yeah, his first outing out of the bullpen in back-to-back days. We'll see how his arm reacts, how well he's able to maneuver his way through the bottom of the order.
The news of the day for Atlanta was the announcement that Gavin Floyd will join the starting rotation on Tuesday against the Cardinals. There were some who wondered whether it would be David Hale or someone else making the trip up I-85 to Gwinnett. That bit of misfortune was assigned to Ian Thomas, who will go to Gwinnett and start. More on that in a second as Brandon Hicks leads off for the Giants. A couple of things in play here. Number one, Freddie Gonzalez likes the fact that David Hale can give his team long innings in relief. On a day today where Wood went 5, might need a couple of frames out of David Hale. And secondly, for Ian Thomas, Freddie said before the game to me that they really want him to go to Gwinnett and work on his secondary pitches. He felt that working an inning at a time or a batter at a time in the case of Thomas wasn't giving him enough work with his changeup and his curveball.
I think we saw evidence of that down in Miami, Chip, when he was throwing some pitches way up and away to right-handed hitters that were getting away from him on the off-speed pitches.
2 balls and a strike for Brandon Hicks. But Tom, there's still some decisions to be made with regards to who's going to fill out the 5 spots in rotation, even with the addition of Gavin Floyd.
Yeah, Freddie's not looking forward to making that decision. He'll wait on it. But going into Ian Thomas's decision, it's not just his secondary pitches, but specifically reintroducing the slider to Ian Thomas. He threw it in high school. He threw it a little bit in college.
Hicks pops it up on the infield. Pena and Ugla converge. It'll be Ramiro, and he's got it, 1 out.
So Roger McDowell and Freddie Gonzalez decided that needed to be a key pitch for Ian Thomas going forward as he goes down to start on Tuesday night at AAA. He'd be available for 3 innings or 45 pitches to start, and then obviously would add to that over time. Remember, this is the same guy who was coming out of the bullpen last year at AA, went into the pitching coach's office and asked Dennis Llewellyn if he could be made a starter so he could work more on his pitches. It paid off that way, and he's hoping it will pay off again.
And so at the major league level, thank you, Tom. The reality is now the Braves have 1 left-hander in their bullpen. It's Luis Avilan. And Avilan's been touched up a time or 2 as well for the Braves. But Freddie also feels confident in Jordan Walden, who can get out lefties as well as righties. So he's comfortable with 1 lefty down there now. Crawford drives 1 to left. Long run, Upton. Wynn pushing that toward the stands, and Justin gets there. Fine play and foul ground. He's made a couple of those in the series. 2 out.
Yeah, the wind really hurt Crawford there by kind of holding that one in the ballpark. You know, I agree with 100% what Freddie said about Jordan Walden being able to get lefties out too. It's just that the way Jordan's pitching right now, it's not like you're going to bring him in the 7th inning in a tough spot to get 1 lefty, as well as he's pitching in a setup role for the 8th.
Yeah, you can get away with it. I mean, the Yankees forever only had 1 lefty in their pen, Boone Logan, but they also had Mariano Rivera, so it changed the way they view it. In a perfect world, I think the way the Giants are set up in their bullpen is about as good as it can be. They got a sidearm lefty that's tough as lefties as you can be for a situational game.
Javier Lopez.
Javier Lopez, and you got FL, who you've seen the last 2 nights just be dominant on either side and come in and bridge the gap. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You know, Alex Wood got to be thinking about, could it be him because of that lack of lefty in the pen and the fact they have 6 starters. Lasting impressions can be a big part of decisions in baseball. It's unfortunate, but depending on how the next couple days go with the starters, see how they pan out that decision.
Gale's fallen behind the pitcher, 3 balls and a strike. Bumgarner was thinking about a 2nd home run.
I think so.
And that's right down Broadway, and Bumgarner took it for a called 3rd strike. Good work by David Hale. 2, 3, and 4 up for the Braves in the 6th, down by a run.
was presented by AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
2-1 game. Braves up in the 6th inning. Right guys at the right time for Atlanta. B.J. Upton, Freddie Freeman, and Justin Upton. And speaking of B.J. Upton, he's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature today.
17 out of his last 20 ball games has bumped his average up too, up near 220. And a select group of people among active players with 1,000 or more hits and 250 or more stolen bases. So things are looking up for him.
Let's see if the third time through the order against Bumgarner leads to better results for the Braves, who have a run on 3 hits today. All 3 hits singles. 2 of them came an inning ago. The Braves had a chance to score, but like so many we've seen of the last week or so, those chances came with 2 outs.
Boy, that Sunday hometown hero presentation that was just made, Sergeant James Brooks, really impressive when the Giants, every one of the guys on the infield stopped taking ground balls. Madison Bumgarner quit throwing pitches. Buster Posey took his mask off. They were all clapping for him. That was wonderful.
Braves do such a great job of in-game entertainment. That is probably my favorite in-game promotion. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's the best shot. After that serviceman or servicewoman finishes with their on-field salute, they walk through the stands, and so many of the great fans at Turner Field shake their hand. Welcome home. Thank you so much for your service.
Well, a lot of the way your players act is a reflection of how the manager expects you to act on the field. And lest we forget Bobby Cox's last game when the Giants beat the Braves in that playoff game. Remember how they stood on the field and honored Bobby and waited for him to come out, and they had their celebration, but they did they were on the field a long time applauding Bobby.
You know, with the Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now, the tradition in hockey, when the series is over, everybody meets and bisects the ice and shakes hands. I don't know if baseball will ever get to that. I think that was probably as close as it's come. As Upton takes down and in, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
The way he's been throwing his fastball by a lot of the Braves hitters, you almost feel like, here, sit up down the middle, throw it, and challenge the Braves hitters to see if he can catch up to the fastball rather than give him a free pass.
He walked in. There's the start. That's the first walk for the Giants lefty today.
And that's a vast improvement for him, having issued 13 on the year in his first 6 starts. He walked 4 in his last outing against San Diego.
And I would say to that sometimes you face the right team to improve that, because there's been a couple of bats he tried to walk him.
Yeah.
We just didn't let him walk him. And that's the difference in approaches and recognizing plate discipline and a strike zone.
Cued foul by Freddie Freeman, the Braves first baseman, at 298 now. He's grounded out second, and he has struck out.
Because it's the nature of baseball. You are who you are, right? And so you're supposed to be who you are. And if you're an aggressive team, and I never used to understand this, but a pitcher would come in and he struggled throwing strikes, but we never let him struggle because we're an aggressive team. So sometimes you have to change a little bit of your approach based on the evidence that's coming in. You know, everyone looks at it, knows what's going on. That ability to adjust is I know it's not as easy as I'm conveying it. It would be, but
yeah, it depends on the aggressiveness of each hitter. I think, John, and so many guys, I mean, they're going to say, I'm not going up there to walk. I'm going up there to hit the ball hard somewhere, and they get impatient. And you know better than most that guys will chase bad balls.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. Posey's throw is not in time. On target, but high. And that, I think, is what allowed Upton to steal his 7th base.
I agree, Chip, and I think it was a product of knowing that there's a fast runner at first base, and he kind of hurried it. He's right around 30% in throwing out base stealers, which is pretty good. But that high throw cost him.
A hit could mean a run for Freeman, but he's got to dig out of a 2-strike hole here. In the air to center. Pagan drifts back. He's going to have room. There's the catch, but a productive out. BJ will tag and move to third base with 1 out.
That works.
Pass the baton. You know, you do your job, then let the next guy do his job. When you're struggling for runs, that's what has to happen. You can't be the hero. You can't try to always do it. Call it ABC baseball. You've heard the term before. Now you need the C part. Get him over. Get him in.
No one loosening in their bullpen. Infield was in, but they backed up the middle infielders to concede the run.
So let's see if Upton can make contact. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts today. Popped up. Foul ground. Belt near the Braves dugout. Might have a play, and he does.
First pitch.
Here's Gaddis. Evans lined out and struck out. A little low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Chance to pick up your teammate here with a 2-out hit.
Braves have left 3 men on base so far today. Johnson was left at third an inning ago. B.J. Upton stands there now with 2 outs. Well, Gaddis looked outside.
Chip, we've been talking about their struggles with runners in scoring position, just like the Braves, but their pitchers are giving up an average of 197 with runners in scoring position coming into play today, and Atlanta had left 19 men on base in the first 2 games.
So for a Braves club that came in 27th in all of baseball with the number of plate appearances with runners in scoring position, they've had more than their share in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
So far, the Braves have scored 3 runs against the Giants. And Gaddis went fishing, and that's been a big problem in this series. The frustration offensively creating a lot of strikeouts for the Giants pitching staff. Today by a 2-1 score. Friends, Andrelton Simmons bobblehead night is coming up on Thursday, May 22nd. That's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. First 20,000 fans get to take home this one-of-a-kind souvenir. Get your tickets today at braves.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-745-3000. May 22nd is the Braves and Brewers. It'll be our final look at the Milwaukee Ball Club in the regular season. Braves took 2 out of 3 to start the season up at Miller Park. So David Hale back to work for Atlanta. Top of the order for the Giants. Pagan, Pence, and Posey.
You know, I didn't get a chance to see much of this guy last year, but what I've seen this year, I'm really impressed with David Hale and his simple mechanics, life low in the zone, nothing eye-popping, nothing that'll make you go wow, but he just really finds a way to get it done. And
base hit to right by Pagan gives him a 2-hit game.
He's another guy that much like Alex Wood has a lot of composure even in the toughest of times. He had a rough outing in New York where he needed a ground ball to get a double play to get out of a tough spot. The ground ball went right through Uggla's legs that could have been a double play, and there was a little frustration he showed at that moment, but he didn't let it affect him the rest of the way.
Couple of hits for Hunter Pence today. He scored the first Giants run. Runner goes, and a cue shot right in front of Evan Gattis, who has to pounce quickly, and he makes the play.
Braves are fortunate that he swung there. Another big jump. It's the third time I think Pence has not allowed his runner to steal. Maybe a hit and run, who knows, but off the end of the bat, pretty good play here by Gattis.
So that's as good as a sacrifice. A 2-3 put out tires Pence, and now Posey bats.
Can't imagine they're going to let him bat.
Yeah, they'll walk him intentionally and set up a double play with Morse, who is 0 for 3 today. Marlins still lead the Dodgers. That's 4-3 now in the 8th inning. Toronto over the Pirates 6-1. Phillies won, Washington nothing. That game's in the 2nd inning. Cole Hamels was scratched in that game. He was supposed to pitch today, but he's got the flu.
Well, for the Phillies' sake, I hope it's just the flu after he started the year on the disabled list.
Gio Gonzalez is on the mound for Washington today. Arizona will visit San Diego later. Mets are in Colorado. That'll be G versus Chacin. And the Sunday night game will take place at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Cardinals and Cubs. If you care to watch the Sunday night game, John Kruk apparently will sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Dan Shulman and John Kruk are doing the game from the bleachers tonight.
It's fun.
And the Cubs a chance to sweep the Cardinals, and the reason we bring that up, Cardinals are here next. They have a very long night ahead of them. The Sunday night game, then the flight from Chicago to Atlanta in time for our game tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we have a 24-hour ticket sale. Club Pavilion seats are just $5 to see the Braves and Cardinals this week, and the Braves and Brewers May 19th through the 22nd. $5 Club Pavilion tickets are only available this Monday at Braves.com. Alex Wood struck out Mike Morse 3 times. How does David Hale attack him here with 2 on 1 out?
don't know if Pagan distracted David Hale there. Pagan did that earlier today at first base with Alex Wood, and I wondered if it somehow out of the corner of his eye he kind of rushed his delivery when he saw him bluff. If so, it's a pretty effective strategy by Angel.
Would that bother the hitter though, Joe? It looks like he's right in the line of sight of Mike Morse.
It would. It wouldn't have when he was at first base earlier today, but that would have bothered me as a hitter, yes.
He's missed inside with 3 straight. Will Morse have the hit privilege?
I would give it to him.
Yeah, me too.
Conscious effort the first 2 pitches to try and bury strikes in, maybe get an aggressive Morse to get jammed.
So after the intentional walk, an unintentional walk to Morse loads the bases. Now Brandon Belt will be the hitter, and that'll be the last hitter seen by David Hale today. David works an inning and a third, a hit, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Brandon Belt is a left-hand hitter. The Braves have 1 lefty in their bullpen. Will it be Avilan or someone else? We'll find out in a moment.
The AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
There's a sweet picture.
So a tough spot for Luis Avilan. He'll check into the game as the 3rd Braves pitcher of the day. And he's got the bases loaded and Brandon Belt in the batter's box.
Still trying to whittle down that ERA after that rough outing he had. Gave up a career high 5 runs, all earned, back on April 14th.
Sharply hit. Pena will take it to the bag at second. And on to first, a double play. Nothing to it for Avilan. 2 outs on 1 pitch. And the Braves are up in the 7th, down a run.
was presented by the Georgia Lottery, Toyota, and AT&T.
Seventh inning stretch in Atlanta. 2-1 San Francisco the lead. Boy, what a big double play induced by Luis Avilan to get Brandon Belt and the Giants in the seventh. They are unable to extend their lead of 1 run. Get 33% off concessions at Turner Field when you buy a 2014 Braves season ticket package. Prorated packages are now available. Go to Braves.com/season tickets or call 404-577-9100 for more details. The day is done for Madison Bumgarner. A couple of changes for the Giants. Juan Perez takes over for Michael Morrison left. And after a 9-strikeout, 3-hit performance over 6 innings, Madison Bumgarner gives way to Juan Gutierrez.
Let me tell you something. You're going to see velocity out of this guy. He's got a very firm fastball, 97 plus, with a curveball and slider. Fastball can be very electric. One of the arms that we were talking about out of the pen. He uses his body and his delivery very well.
So the Braves have to find a way to get something done against the Giants bullpen that over their last 8 games has given up a grand total of 6 hits. Here in the 7th, Johnson, Ugla, and Ramiro Pena are scheduled. Then Avilan's spot due 4th.
I mean, when you're managing, you're hoping this is the formula that you have for a team. When you leave spring training, you have a certain part of your ball club that has an edge or something that somebody has to fear. And for the Giants, you know, historically it was their starters, but it's turned into their relievers, really, to get a shorter game and play a shorter game. And they've been effective, really, as you talk about the statistical category that their bullpen and the role that they've been on.
So Gutierrez versus Johnson in the Braves 7th. And he drops in an 83-mile-an-hour slider for strike 1.
I might guess wrong, Joe, if I were to evaluate or look at future guys that may or may not be a really good pitcher or closer, but I can tell you that when a guy uses his body well and you can't teach 96, 97. And when I watch this guy, it just seemed like I don't know what his mechanical breakdowns are as far as pitfalls. But I like what I see when he's delivering the ball, and certainly the hitters will tell you whether they like or don't like what he sees.
Well, if he's got the kind of curveball that I've heard about to go with that velocity, he might be a closer in waiting.
Well, he did close for the Diamondbacks back in 2010. He had 15 saves that year. It's always been plagued by a high ERA. He's had 1, 2, 3 seasons, 4 seasons in the big leagues, where his ERA is over 5. While pitching out of bullpens in Houston, Arizona, Kansas City, and last year with the Angels. Crawford went to an E and couldn't pick that one. So Johnson's aboard on an 0-2 gift, and there's a good start for the Braves in the 7th.
Part of that reason can be the confusion on which pitch to throw when. This is a 2-strike curveball that hangs in the zone and gives the hitter a chance. It's not this easy. I used to hear it all the time early in my career. Oh, you got a good fastball. Why do you ever want to throw anything other than that? You know, and the guys that are blessed with good fastballs still have to be able to mix it up. And sometimes that confusion can lead towards misrecognizing whether that guy had a chance on your fastball to give him a slider speed bat or a curveball that he can catch up to.
A strike to Dan Ugla. Dan has popped out and he's flied to left.
I know I fell in that trap early. I would throw fastballs, guys would follow them straight back, and I would think, gosh, they're catching up to me. You know, they're timing it. And then I'd throw a slider and he'd lace it for a hit. And what I didn't realize is they weren't seeing the fastball. They were barely getting to it. And I gave them a chance.
Sped their bat up.
Yeah.
0-2.
fastball slider combination this time. See if he tries to climb the ladder and go outside with a fastball.
Well, Buster Posey's been back there for the last 2 games, and he's seen a lot of chases on high fastballs. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see him go upstairs.
He wants it up. And he got it there. Uggla tried to check his swing, tipped it into Posey's glove. Great call, Joe. And Uggla's out number 1.
Especially when you throw as hard as he does, you can get away with it even if you're just off a little bit. And unfortunately for Dan, he stopped his swing, but it was a foul tip.
Bumgarner struck out 9 over his 6 innings. The run he gave up was unearned. So Uggla is strikeout victim number 10 on the day for the Braves offense, and Ramiro Pena is the batter. He's 1 for 2. I'll turn around and hit left-handed. Let's see if he can pop one here and turn the game around.
I like him better left-handed because he does have more power left-handed, especially down and in. But he also has good hands, can make contact. He's a guy who has hit and run a lot in his career. And you were talking about earlier, John, at the start of the game, you know, somebody be a hero, somebody do something and kind of excite the team. A hit and run play might do just that right here. Chris Johnson's not fast. If he doesn't make contact, there's a great chance he's going to be thrown out. But right now, nothing else is working.
Sure is not. And that's the frustration of baseball. The great thing is every day you get to make up for what you weren't able to do. But if you keep duplicating the same things you've been doing, it gets really, really long and frustrating.
Popped up. Into the bright sunshine. Belts it first. Makes a one-handed catch. And Pena is the second out, and Ryan Domit grabs a bat. He'll hit for Avilan.
You know, and I think to add the frustration, with the exception of one great play and a double play in this series, if you hit the ball hard and making outs, you know that sooner or later it's going to find holes. There's been a lot of quiet outs, soft outs, no contact out, pop-ups, and that's when you know it's just not clicking. Guys are not seeing the ball collectively as a team, and that's where, you know, you're going to give the pitcher credit from time to time. But what we've seen in this series, I'm not ready to give the San Francisco starters that much credit because they pitched behind a lot. There was a lot of hittable counts.
Well, it's not like there have been a lot of line drives that have been shagged by outfielders on the run, you know, in the gap or anything like that. Crawford's made some really good plays at shortstop. That's why that play to start this inning is a little surprising, the way he olayed that one. But otherwise, he's had a brilliant defensive series.
Ryan Domit pops one up left side. Long run for Crawford. He's going to get there and make the play. And that'll retire the side. In this 3-game series so far, the Braves have 3 runs on 17 hits. And they're down by a run late. go to the 8th. It's 2-1 Giants. Let's take a look at today's game summary.
Brandon Crawford had the solo homer today right after the Braves had tied the game. Brett Zucchini tells me that's happened this entire series. Every time the Braves have scored a run, they've hit a solo homer to break the tie the following inning. Merrill Pena playing in place of Andrelton Simmons has a base hit. You see the line on Alex Wood, and Chris Johnson has a couple of hits today too, 2 for 3.
So Jordan Walden takes over for Atlanta. This will be his 14th game. We were asking the other night about what's the effective velocity of a Jordan Walden pitch with that hop off the mound and as close as he appears to be at the release of the baseball. Had a fan on Twitter actually do the math. They said if he comes off the mound and is pitching and letting go of the baseball at, say, 53 feet away, that's equivalent to almost a 112-mile-an-hour fastball.
I believe it. I believe it. That's great info. And that is something useful from Twitter. I'm very, very impressed.
I'm pretty sure it was a Georgia Tech student that sent me that.
Well, I'm proud of you for admitting it.
Yes. But thank you very much for that information. As Sandoval pops it out of play foul, it's 2 balls and a strike. Hey, good news in Miami. The Marlins were trying to protect a 4-3 lead in the 9th inning. The Dodgers have tied that game up and have the bases loaded with 1 out.
Miami had used a lot of relievers last night. Cishek might have come in and been a little tired. Wasn't him?
Nope. Popped up by Sandoval, foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That may have been why they couldn't use him, because he had to pitch some last night.
Now hits have been tough to come by for the Braves. They're tough to come by for the Royals too. Verlander working on a no-hitter in the 6th inning. Some guys always flirt.
Popped up. That's behind the screen foul.
You know, he's not in the headlines much because he was in the shadows of Scherzer last year. Max pitched so well, but nobody wants to face Justin Verlander.
Now everyone was struggling with him, saying, "Oh, he may be losing it," and then look what he did in the postseason. He was virtually unhittable.
Yeah.
The team didn't score many runs. He went the last 7 starts and didn't get about 3 runs.
That one's cut on and missed. Sandoval will try to outrun the baseball to first, but he can't do that. And Sandoval is out number 1. Yeah, Verlander just keeps on keeping on coming into play today. He was 8th in the American League in ERA. He hasn't given up anything today, as John was saying. He's not in the top 10 in strikeouts in the American League, though. That's a little bit different.
He's pitching in a different gear. You're not revving it up there. He's probably topping out at 91, 92 at times. He's still got the 94, but I'm talking with him when I did a game last year. You know, he said, "Hey, I can't run it up there with these young guys anymore." But it's weird to hear that, because he was the ultimate freak. You know, he could end a game at 99 miles an hour in the 9th inning.
But we saw him in spring training in his start at in Orlando, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with his stuff that day. Just like Jordan Walden, and nothing wrong with the way he's firing either.
Well, we've talked about how amazing. You know, I could see him getting away with his mechanics like that on a fastball. But to me, the off-speed pitches that he has and really how good they are, that's the pitch I think amazes me, that he has the touch with that, and that ability to stick his feet, you know, off the rubber, get in the air.
You'd think his arm would kind of drag and have a hard time getting on top of any breaking stuff.
Hicks had a good cut, fouled it back, full count. Braves will have the top of their order in the home 8th. Walden will try to keep it a 1-run game. And he just walked Hicks with 1 out. Let's check out our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard. Brandon Crawford is the hitter. He's 1 for 3 with another home run for the Giants, who are 3 behind the Rockies for the National League home run lead as a team. That's a shocking stat considering the difference in the 2 home ballparks between the Rockies and Giants.
Their lineup's different this year, though. They have a power pack lineup top to bottom.
Mentioned this last night. The Giants last year went 76 and 86. They hit 107 home runs. That was next to last in the National League. They've hit 40 home runs now this season, and they've homered in 11 consecutive games. And now they'll take aim not only at the Braves the rest of today, but the next 3 days in Pittsburgh at PNC Park.
Sorry, Justin Verlander.
You did it to him?
I'm sorry. I should know better.
Who got him?
Billy Butler. The Butler got him.
Brandon Crawford is a California kid, grew up watching the Giants. Royce Clayton's his favorite player, or was as a kid. 2 balls, no strikes. Giants have to be thrilled with what they got from Madison Bumgarner today. He righted the ship.
Wasn't Royce Clayton in that awkward situation of replacing Ozzie Smith?
He was. Yep. He went around. Crawford not sure about that call. 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, Tony La Russa was in his early days as the manager of the Cardinals and felt that for the future of the team, Ozzie Smith needed to start to cede some of his playing time to a younger player. That didn't sit well with the Wizard. As Crawford unloads deep to right field, Hayward goes back, and finally the Giants hit something other than a solo homer. And that's not good news for Atlanta. A 2-run shot makes it a 4-1 game. A 2-homer game for Brandon Crawford.
Well, he should feel pretty good. He's the first guy to put the barrel on a fastball from Jordan Walden in a long time. He'd only given up 2 hits over his last 5 outings, and that fastball at 96 in, and he turned on it very much like he turned on that ball down and in earlier today.
So the Giants get another home run and extend their lead to 4-1 over the Braves. That ball was foul and then curved fair, and Freeman's going to make the play.
Perez came in the game last inning to play left field, and watch this.
You know, end of the bat, spin kept it fair. Did you guys see the forget who it was, where he tore the cover off the ball, hitting the ball off the end of the bat? That was the wildest thing. He couldn't throw it to first.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw it, but the ball didn't get there.
Yeah, it was Carlos Maldonado who hit the ball, and I think Alvarez caught the ball at third base and just
I've never seen anything like that.
Fluttered over across the diamond.
I've seen where the pitcher or the player gets the ball stuck in the webbing and they have to throw the glove and the ball to the first baseman, but never did I see the cover taken off. Hence he's hitting the cover off the baseball. Maybe started a long time ago.
One ball, one strike for Angel Pagan. He's got 2 hits today. Did he go? Nope. Yeah, in the case of Maldonado with Milwaukee, I'm just glad he could hit something other than Travis Snyder.
Oh, good point. He sucker punched the baseball too.
Dangerous pitch for Pagan, and he serves it to left. Upton is there, and he's got it to retire the side. The Giants get a 1-out walk and a 2-run homer from Brandon Crawford. It's late in Atlanta. 4-1 Giants. As the Braves come up in the home 8th, they'll have their first, second, and third hitters coming up against a new Giants pitcher. We'll tell you who that is in just a moment. But a reminder for you, you can get 33% off your concessions at Turner Field when you buy a 2014 Braves season ticket package. Prorated packages are now available. Get them at braves.com/season tickets or by phone at 404-577-9100. Ask for Brian Lapidus. He'll get you all hooked up for your 2014 Braves season ticket package. Joaquin Arias takes over at third base for the Giants, and a real tough customer. You mentioned him earlier, John, is on the hill for San Fran.
Yeah, the rare sidearm left-hander, and he gets low and can be very difficult for left-handers to hit. Sweeps his slider. See the stats there: 12 games, 1.5 ERA, and only 6 innings. So he's not usually out there very long, but effective.
Gave up a run his last time out against the Padres. He's got a very interesting stat, though, in their notes. He's faced 630 batters in a Giants uniform. He's given up 2 home runs.
Bad news in Miami. The Marlins just beat the Dodgers. So they take 2 out of 3 from Los Angeles. Got to keep an eye on the fish. Here it's 4-1 San Francisco. Braves with 4 hits.
Yeah, they don't appear to be swimming upstream anymore. They seem to have the current going with them now. The problems he presents, Lopez presents for lefties, is pretty obvious. Going to throw in the ball from somewhere around Brandon Hicks area out at second base. Lefties this year just 1 for 14 off of him. I'm really surprised, John, that more guys don't do this. And I'll say borderline guys, AAA guys trying to make a club somewhere, trying to work their way up to the big leagues, that don't try dropping down, especially left-handers.
Well, it's not real easy. A lot of guys historically have a shoulder problem, and to alleviate the problem or to stay in the game, they'll drop down. But I agree. I mean, it's one of the things that, do you want to be labeled early in your career as a specialist, or does it get to the point where you're not conventionally successful, so you go unconventional? I don't know which comes first, but in this case, it's worked out.
High hop towards second. Hicks hung with it. Nice play. Wow.
Got a funny hop too, and it did hit the ground. Got a nice big bounce, but it wasn't high enough on the second bounce for Jason to get a base hit.
This has been a very strange series from an offensive standpoint, as B.J. Upton bats his 7-game hit streak on the line here. We've chronicled the Braves' struggles with runners in scoring position. They're 3 for 21 so far in the series. The Giants have a chance to sweep the Braves in Atlanta. They're 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position in 3 games.
Goodness. They've not swept the Braves in Atlanta since 1988. That was a long time ago. John Smoltz was just a pup.
Just a pup.
Know who the pitchers were in that 3-game series? Atlee Hammaker, Kelly Downs, and Don Robinson for the Giants. Rick Mailer, Germán Jiménez, and Pete Smith were the pitchers for the Braves.
Who was the second one for the Giants?
Kelly Downs.
Kelly Downs. He had a good arm.
And in an early display, Joe, of his great athleticism, Tom Glavine pinch ran in that series.
Versatile.
Wooden ankles. He pinch ran.
Yeah.
He didn't get the wooden ankles till later, I guess.
I sure hope there's a story behind that. 2 balls, 2 strikes to B.J. Upton.
He just had some tough ankles and ran like they were wooden. I guess that's why well, he wasn't gifted with speed. Let's put it that way.
Well, some of that came from, ice skating ankles.
Yes, very much so.
I'd get the lowdown on that tomorrow. If he's working tomorrow, we're checking into that. He's going to be here. We'll get first-hand account.
Pulled foul.
Still, I'm not going to let him know. I buried this, but the play I made when he was with the Mets, when I threw him out from the coach's on-deck circle, or the coach's box in third base, kind of verifies the wooden ankles.
The barehanded play?
The barehanded play, single-handedly. The look Chipper gave me was the most impressive look. Like, what are you doing? I'm right here. I got it.
No competitive juices flowing for you, huh?
No, and Glav ran to first base, never looked left, but whispered to the first base coach. I know he did. It's like, who threw that?
And you were standing down the hallway just waiting, right?
Never let that conversation hear the end of that.
Freddie Freeman, the batter. Braves still have a shot in this game.
Well, they got the right part of the order up to do some quick damage. It's a third walk for BJ in the series. That's another sign that he's seeing the ball a little better.
Again, second day for Upton with the new athletic eyeglasses. He's got the shades on at first as he measures off his lead with Freeman in the box. 1 ball, 1 strike.
More than likely Javier's last hitter, I would think.
Line to third. And Arias faked a throw back to first. Freeman, if you're looking for good signs, try to hit that ball the other way.
He did, and he hit it on a line, but they had the third baseman well off the line, and he hit it right at him. Otherwise, it normally would be right through the hole.
Troy Glaus years ago had a great line. At the plate, all you can try to be is a producer, not a director, meaning just put the ball in play, and where it goes, you can't help after contact. And Freeman robbed by a defensive shift by the Giants, and it was the last hitter faced by Lopez. 1 on, 2 outs in the Atlanta 8th. The Giants have cooled off the Atlanta bats again. 4-1 is our score as the Braves hit in the bottom of our 8th inning. Back to our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Who was the last Giants left-handed pitcher to win 20 games in a season?
I just, before the answer, I want to quantify something that happened yesterday. I was trying to make a Talladega Nights reference when I said I was on fire.
Yes.
And it didn't come quite out like that. You know, like help me Oprah Winfrey when he was running down the track.
Happens to me all the time.
All right, so before the answer, that's how I wanted it. Before anyone thinks I'm going around streaking here in the booth or anything.
Quit while you're ahead.
Okay, I'm done.
I'm going to go with that guy Bryant.
Oh, Bear Bryant?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've had this before. You're going to stick with Atlee Hammaker?
Yeah, just because that's what I said.
And I'll say Lefty Grove.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello.
We've had this one before.
Hello, come on.
Justin Upton, the hitter. Mackey is the pitcher for the Giants.
He went 24-12 that year.
What year was that?
1973.
Wow. Did we sweep the series in trivia?
I think we might have, using the term loosely. Talked about this guy last night. Throws hard. 5'10", 255. Got a double play last night. Only faced 2 batters. Got a double play and another ground out. Very efficient.
He loves his splitter too.
Two strikeouts and a pop-up today for Justin. That's right there, 2-2.
Strike 3 called, and Upton can't believe it. He's been called out a couple of times in this series on belt high pitches over the inside corner. He flips the bat and helmet away in frustration as the Braves are out of luck in the bottom of the 8th inning. 4-1 San Francisco to go to the 9th.
Field today. Friends, Fox Sports Supports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients quickly in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. New pitcher out there for Atlanta. That's Anthony Favaro. They'll have the 2, 3, 4 hitters up for the Giants.
Worked 2/3 of an inning a couple of nights ago and struck out 2 batters. Did good work working in the 7th and stranded a couple of runners.
Hunter Pence a 2-for-4 game. He's hit in 11 of his last 12 for San Francisco. He takes a ball high. That's driven a long way down the right field line, but the wind will push it into the seats, and Pence will face an even count. Mets lead Colorado early. That's in the second inning. 1-0 New York. Troy Tulowitzki, by the way, reached his 1,000th hit for the Rockies last night.
I voted for him for Player of the Month.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
Hard to vote against a guy hitting 400, huh?
Yeah. Well, he had like 11 or 12 doubles to go with his homers and RBIs.
Not many people talked about the Rockies in the preseason, but like the Brewers, I think they're for real, especially in their home ballpark, as they always are. There's some kind of offensive ball club. Rockies well over 300 at the plate as a team at Coors Field.
That was an emergency hack.
He's got him.
Yes, he does. He's got this open stance, but he doesn't stride. He brings his foot back, and it's real fast and picking it up and putting it back down. But everything's kind of geared to second base, around to the third base line, ready to pull. So anything away, he goes into that emergency flail.
Off stride there and popped it up. Uggla drifts out. Pena's joining him, and Ramiro makes the catch for out number 1. Pence retired in the 9th inning. He's had a good series, though, and Buster Posey stands in.
You know, we've talked about this before, Chip, but remember before the draft in 08 when he was at Florida State, Posey and his agent made it clear that they wanted X number of dollars, and this is what it would take to sign him, and that scared off some teams. And he dropped to the Giants with the 5th pick, and the Giants were happy to say, you bet.
Whatever you want, right?
We'll take him. And it certainly has worked out for San Francisco in a positive fashion.
So he was the 5th pick?
5th pick. First pick. The Rays had the first pick. They took Tim Beckham out of Griffin, Georgia. Pirates took Pedro Alvarez, who's in the big leagues. The Royals took Eric Hosmer, who they're still kind of waiting. He's in the big leagues, but waiting for him to really develop.
And Posey with a base hit with 1 out.
And the Orioles took Brian Mattis, that relief pitcher that they have in the big leagues right now. So 3 of the 4 guys in the big leagues, but none of them Buster Posey quality.
Yeah, not an MVP, rookie of the year, and perennial all-star. Here's Arias.
I think they had lists like that back in '85.
Oh, sure they did.
About 20 pages deep, maybe farther. 22nd round.
Well, cream always rises to the top.
You said it, Joe.
You ever go back and look at the old media guides? I've got one somewhere at home. I'll have to see if I can find it as Arias hits. He stalls this one toward left center field. Upton will get there, and he puts it away for the second out. It's always fun to go back and look at the bio pictures of the players.
Oh yeah.
You ever go back and look at yours?
I tried to eliminate every one of those. There's a baseball card I'm still trying to eliminate, a picture of mine that I just
really.
Oh my gosh, I'm trading out kids who asked me to sign that card with different cards. Can't get rid of it. It's not pretty. You never know what picture they're going to take, right? So this one particular card is the only time I never had facial hair. Not that the facial hair was something to always be proud of, but anyways, I better stop there.
Was it that one that you looked a little bit like Pee Wee Herman?
That one. Donruss kind of. No, it's bad.
Donruss, well, that's a hint.
I think it's a Donruss card.
That one off the glove of Gaddis, and Posey will move up 90 feet.
They say you draw, you have facial hair to draw things away from other features. That's what I was trying to do.
I've seen some of your cards. I got to be honest. You got a little bit of Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite working.
Well, the difficult part is Chan has shown him about 4 or 5 different cards because they're all suspect.
Yeah. None of them. He hasn't hit it yet.
And you're not going to tell him, are you?
No, I don't want to see it. I got sick and I shaved my mustache, and just the next day they happened to shoot them.
2 balls, no strikes for Belt. And way out of him. 3-0.
Honestly, I didn't think much about the goatee, and then it grew on me.
Oh, you're on.
Finally broke the cricket machine. I knew it was possible.
So that was your goal for the weekend.
Yeah. Get rid of that thing.
Baseball on the field out. Came out of the bullpen.
Belt thought he earned a walk as he flipped the bat away. It's now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Was it a strike?
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Well, just a little high. Would have needed a wide brush to paint that corner.
And Belt can only mutter as he makes his way to the Giants dugout. Braves down to the last 3 outs. They need 3 to tie and 4 to win at home. San Francisco. We will say goodbye to the Giants for a week or so. We'll see them next week out in San Francisco. And we hope you'll stay with us for the rest of this homestand as the Cardinals come to town. Our first look at Mike Matheny and the St. Louis Cardinals. Our coverage starts with Braves Live at 6:30. Tom Glavine, we understand, will join us and have the last word with John Smoltz.
Just let me know that already.
For the 3-game series. So stick around for that as we look at Santiago Casilla. They'll give Sergio Romo a day off. Rather than have him work 3 days in a row, they'll hope he has a chance to get some action in against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
He worked here Friday night, an inning and a third, walked a batter, struck out a batter. As you said, giving Romo a night off. Throws hard, mid-90s. Slider, curve.
Evan Gattis will start things off. Evan is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Sharply hit. Arias at third. Loads up. Gets his man for out number 1.
I want to always keep my hat on in most of my baseball cards, obviously, but my teammate and pretty boy, Tom Glavine, not so much.
Well, I like what it says there at the top, Studio 91.
I am going to be glad I'm out of town for the next 3 days. I can't see anything.
I really thought you were going to say, well, they found that card I was talking about.
No way.
Well, there are rules, John, as you know. Hat on, no talking.
I know.
Glavine will be here tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully better luck for the Braves.
Yes, for sure.
With the Cardinals coming in for 3. Shelby Miller and Aaron Harang will be the featured starters.
We talked about turning the mic to the right side. I'm just going to take the mic off.
Yeah.
And see if can't get going.
When do you join us again?
Following weekend.
Cubs.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to get you in the win column. 1 ball, 1 strike for Chris.
Braves have 17 hits is all this series, including 4 today, and only 2 extra base hits included in that. Those were doubles yesterday by BJ and Jason. So the Giants pitchers have done a good job too, and they've stranded 6 again today, 6 more today. That's 25 guys that they have left on base in this series.
And I think credit has to be given to them and their scouting reports, because they've executed the quadrants of where the Braves have been struggling. You know, it's one thing, and those are going to change. You know, in a week, someone could be hitting the high pitch or staying off the low pitch, and they did a nice job adjusting a game plan and kept the hitters from really getting on any kind of roll.
Back to the mound. And Johnson's bid for a hit taken away by Casilla. There's out number 2.
Wow, I thought that was already by him.
Everything that could go right for the Giants in this series has. Everything that could go awry for Atlanta has. And you're right, Joe. He was past him.
Quick reactions after he fell off toward the first base side.
Pitchers of record today would be Bumgarner for the Giants. With 1 more out, San Francisco would earn him his 3rd win. And for Alex Wood, he'd fall to 2-5. And to put that in perspective, the Braves will support him with 1 run in his last 4 starts combined. And so in this case, you look at Wood's 1-loss record. If the Braves fall today, casual fans might say, wow, he's having a bad year. That's not the case.
You're definitely not feeling real good about your luck factor.
One ball, 2 strikes for Dan Uggla in the Atlanta 9th. This will be the longest longest Braves losing streak in a while. Last time the Braves lost 6 in a row was in 2012 when they dropped 8 games in a row in late May. To third. Arias has it. And the Giants have swept the Braves in Atlanta, something they haven't done in a long time. 1988 to be exact. San Francisco beats Atlanta 4-1 your final score. Back to talk about it after this.